Hi and welcome to Add More Zest. My name's Rebecca and I just thought I'd bob on with a quick one to show you a quilt I managed to finish this Easter weekend. So in the UK we have a 4-day weekend, so Good Friday is a bank holiday and Easter Monday is also a bank holiday. So I quilted all weekend. So I got out a kit I got at Quiltfest when I'd first started quilting. I got 3 kits, I think, from Bramble Patch. One of them was a baby quilt that I've already shown you, I think. And then this was another one, silhouettes. Came with a load of fat eighths of loads of different fabrics, but once I got it out, I wasn't feeling the pattern. It's still a nice pattern, it's still a pattern I'll keep. I think it was the contrast when we got to the black and grey. I wasn't liking it as much as the black ones or the white ones. So I decided to use the fabric but do it slightly different. This also ended up being a 56-inch square quilt. And this one I think ended up being about 62 by 72. Which is the normal size that I sort of do, a throw size. It's around the 50s, 60s by 60s, 70s is how I roughly work it out. It's a nice on the couch. It will cover your legs, but you know, it's not a double quilt or anything. So I just decided to do squares. I actually deliberated for quite a while before I made my decision. But yeah, I decided to do, I think they're 4.5-inch squares. Are they 4.5-inch? And then end up as 4-inch? Or did I cut them as 5? No, well that doesn't help because they've ended up 4.25. So... or a bit over in some. So I'll have cut them as 5 inches. It's been washed, so it's already like crinkled. So yeah, cutting as 5-inch, ending up as 4.5. And I did add a couple of fabrics to it to make sure that it could do the full size quilt. But I used, of course, most of the ones that came with it. I used the binding that came with it, and then I added my own backing. I'd actually picked this backing up. It's an extra wide. I picked it up from Llandudno, or a quilt shop in Llandudno. So I didn't have to piece the backing. But I did all my cutting, pieced all my 2s together. I think I even pieced the rows together as well. See, look, I'm finding all the threads. I've not yet inspected this after it's been washed. So I've not done all my thread snipping yet. It's got binding though. I did sit and sew my binding. Anyway, yeah, so I may have got it to the point of rows on the first day. No, I got it pieced on the first day. The second day, I think that's when I got it to the point of being a quilt top. And I got it, no, I got it to the point of being in rows. Day 3, I sewed the rows together. I put my quilt sandwich together with backing, batting and front, and I did a little bit of the quilting, and on day 4 I finished off the quilting. Added the binding, but the hand stitching of the binding on the back, I did that over the rest of the week. So I could have finished it in 4 days, but I enjoy the binding, so I like to spread it out. So yeah, this is primarily silhouette fabric, I think. Hence it's called silhouette. But yeah, absolutely gorgeous, and it goes from black to sort of dark grey. I have let it stagger just a little bit, but not a huge amount. Then we go into paler grey. I did add in this leaf print. This is from Hobbycraft. And I added in this print, which is actually the same as this black one. I picked this up as a ½ metre, I think, in my local quilt shop, so I had it in my stash. So I added those 2 in just to help make the quilt be a little bit bigger. and because the pattern didn't involve, because of the way it was cut, and I made sure that I could get as much out of the material as possible. I think that's all I needed to add. Did I add another one? I may have added a white one. And I'm looking now and I'm going, I don't think I did. No, I didn't. So that's all I needed to add to make it enough to make a bigger quilt, which is good. It has been just stitched just the width of my walking foot away from the seam. It gives you this little nice crosshatch in the middle. Also makes these quite a bit puffier as well. So it's a bit more of a, it's not as stiff of a quilt. So you can full on cuddle up. And I use variegated thread. So you can see on the back, if you've wondered, it's a thread that goes from black to white to grey. So it's got all this contrast. I asked my sister-in-law, she wanted the contrast. So we went for the variegated. Not all of my lines are perfectly straight, but they're actually not too bad. They're not too bad at all. There is the odd place where I see it. More often than not, it's where the black thread is. But hey ho. But I really like the look of sort of, it's a bit like grungy crisscross type colour. I keep finding little bobbly bits on the fabric that I keep pulling off. I should have done that before. But anyway, this is my latest quilt top finish. I do have another one in progress. It's a messing one. I am messing with Hobbycraft fat quarters that we picked up right at the beginning. Just having a little play and a mess about with a new pattern. But yeah, I thought I'd show you my sister-in-law's quilt before I take it to her. This is a different sister-in-law to the last one. But she got a request in there. So very happy to have been able to spend the weekend playing with fabric and know that this has a home. And I do really, really like the way this one is sort of crinkled up, because the spacing between the quilting. I did debate whether to do another line. Pretty much the whole time I was quilting this, I was thinking of doing another line down the middle, both ways, so it would have a cross in the middle. There was a couple of things that put me off. One was whether I could get my distance exact enough between the two. But the other one was I didn't want it to be too dense. If you do a lot of dense quilting, the quilt doesn't flow and move about as much. So once it was all quilted, I had to sit down for a minute, and I decided that actually it had enough quilting to still, you know, be able to full on ruffle up. So yeah, I stuck to that. But yeah, very, very happy with how this turned out. Kind of disappointed that I'm handing it off to somebody else, because I do really, really like this one. But I know full well that I have picked up loads more fabric recently, so there'll be plenty of quilts I'll be able to keep for myself. But anyway, yeah, just a quick little show and tell for you, slip in an extra little video. It may take a bit longer, it probably will take a bit longer for my next quilt finish, but we shall see. We have May is the month of bank holidays, so maybe we'll have some more, you'll never know. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you all again soon.